Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy, invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy, building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want.
Episode 111.
Hi, this is Wendy Williams, and marriage happiness is way possible. ConnectAgain.org is very happy to sponsor Mighty Married Moms. We are partners in bringing you closer to the life you really want. Visit us today for marriage boosts at ConnectAgain.org.
Hello, everyone. It's Wendy Williams from Mighty Married Moms. I am also from ConnectAgain.org.
And Linda Tighe from allwellbreaksloose.com.
And Debbie Owen from youcanraisegreatkids.com.
And the three of us are the Mighty Married Moms. And we are very happy to be bringing you quality guests who come and talk with us around our kitchen table about things that bring you closer to the life you really want. And today we were definitely honored to have Kathy Elkind from elkindnourishment.com talk to us about women, emotional ties to eating and food, and how sometimes they get a little bit murky in there between nourishing the body and feeding feelings.
Yeah,
wasn't it a powerful conversation?
It was a very powerful conversation. Yeah. I thought it was really interesting how she made the connection between love, food, and connections that we have with people, and it's so true. I mean, you think about it, all of our celebrations are gathering around the table. When we have meetings at work, we gather around a table. There's usually snacks, not always, but frequently. When you get together with a friend, you go out and you have some tea or coffee or a Danish.
Right.
You know, people will get together and have beer, or so
Right.
that food is what we connect around.
It really is.
And it's typically not healthy food.
Typically, yeah.
Office parties, any parties you go to, kids, raising kids, sports celebrations, their birthday parties, you name it.
Yep.
There's usually
Food.
Cookies, there's soda, there's just a lot of stuff there,
Chips,
packaged
dip.
food, chips, dip, really things that aren't healthy for your body, and somehow we've associated that with
Celebration.
and treats.
Yeah.
Right. Treats, right?
And you were talking in the interview about schools having that stuff too. And I know when my kids were in school, it kind of drove me a little bit crazy, but I totally understood why they did this. But they said for kids' birthdays, we were no longer allowed to send in cupcakes and stuff like that. No more of that stuff.
Because of the nuts, or
No, well, there's some of that, but also they're worried about childhood obesity, and so they didn't want us to send in junky food for kids' birthday parties or whatever.
Yeah.
We had no food celebrations, and I'll tell you, the parent conversations at the soccer field were always like, "Can you believe they're not going to let us send in food?" And and I
it does kind of go against the grain. Forgive the pun.
Yeah.
It does kind of go against the grain of human of the way that humanity does observe connection.
Yeah.
Which is around food. It really does. I was just thinking, there's a program that I'm involved in at my place of worship that has to do with a weekly meeting, and they talk very explicitly about that a meal needs to be a part of that weekly meeting because of the way that it connects human beings one to another. And they point to ancient texts that talk about and give illustrations of that right along. And where we've kind of derailed or gone off tracks is this whole processed food thing, which we've talked about so many times with Mighty Married Moms. The whole how processed food is not in our best interest. But it is very, very interesting, that kind of go to, like, I'm feeling stress, I'm feeling upset about something, so I'm going to go grab. And I don't know if it's always that conscious. It's just like the stress response comes up, right to the cookie cabinet.
Yeah, I mean, I do it when I'm stressed and I'm sitting at my desk and I'm writing something that's hard for me, or I'm thinking about a big project. I'll just go and open up the refrigerator and look
and stare and
stare
do that too.
Yes,
There's something magical in there that's going to take care of this.
Okay, I'm going to date myself here. Do you guys remember the old Bill Cosby episode where he walks in, and I can't remember his teenage son's name. Theo. He walked in, and Theo was there, hanging out in front of the refrigerator, just staring at the open refrigerator.
Yes.
And Bill comes in, I don't remember, what was Cliff? His name was Cliff in the show. Cliff would come in and he'd say, Theo, any penguins coming out yet?
Right.
Close the door.
Close the door. Right, yeah. That's awesome.
It's true. My kids do it too.
There's something that's
You know,
going to jump
I'm like,
out.
Yeah.
It will save the day.
It will
save my
the day.
day.
Save my day.
So
Exactly.
now that we have an empty nest, my husband and I are really working hard at eating good food at the right, not too much, at the right time. And so he'll come home in the evening and he'll have had a big salad for lunch. And so often we actually, the two of us don't even sit down for a real dinner, you know, because I'm hungry before he gets in. And we talked about that earlier too, in terms of if you're hungry at 4 or 5, eat. We can talk about that again in a minute. But so he'll come home and I'm not buying chips. I'm not buying chocolate anymore. I'm not buying cookies. I'm not, you know, we do have a little bit of ice cream in the freezer, but you know what? I'm buying the little containers now, so when it's gone for the week, it's gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just really changing the way that I stock our house, or I don't stock.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing is, 2 of our kids came home about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they were standing around, and Alex said, you know, Mom, it's really amazing. For a house that has so much food in it, to have nothing to eat is just incredible. This is my 25-year-old.
Yeah. Interesting.
My kids say that all the time too. There's never anything to eat. I'm like, there's plenty of things to eat. Look, there's apples and bananas. You get some carrots and hummus, and they're like, no,
that's not happening,
Not what I
Mom.
want right now. I'm working on my homework. You know, I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you were talking about, what the 4 or 5 witching hour, not only for babies, not only for little kids, but for my constitution.
Absolutely.
And what she said, you know, she said, if you're hungry at 4 or 5, go ahead and eat. And if the
Something
other people
good.
in your home aren't going to be there at home till 6, 7 o'clock at night, then have a salad with them or have a cup of tea and still enjoy the family time or the dinner table conversation. But you don't. But if your body says I need some food, but it might not be needing food. It might be needing a glass of water. Might be dehydrated. It might need a change of scene. Might need a walk. Might need some deep breathing. Who knows? But I misread the signals as chocolate at 4 or 5.
Right.
I can't imagine why.
It might be chocolate at 4 or 5. It may not be. But, you know, she did say, why don't you test it out? So maybe it is you're truly hungry, and you should eat a small dinner so that you can then eat the rest of your dinner, if you will, with your family later. Or you may need a glass of water because you might be dehydrated. Or it might be that you need to go for a walk. So try them all out and see what happens. Because sometimes it is really true. You go for a walk and you forget that you're hungry.
Right.
Oh,
You know
it's
what I mean?
true. I take my dog, you know, and I've been usually
that's
working
true.
by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm at home and I've been working a long time, and that's the time when the dogs are driving me crazy. And so I'm like, okay, it's time for all of us to go for a little bit of a walk.
Yeah.
So we take a 10-minute walk or a 15-minute walk and come back, and I can work for another hour most of
And
the
life
time.
looks a little different after a good...
And also,
You're right.
you know, between lunch and dinner is a long period of time.
It is a long time.
And I personally think it's a really good idea to have a snack around 3 in the afternoon, because you have a little snack then, you're not really hungry at 4 or 5. You're okay.
Yeah.
You might think, I'd like some food right now, but you're not truly hungry, right? You're not truly hungry because you've taken care of a little snack earlier so that you can then have dinner with your family. But the thing is that we're all different and we're all individuals. What works for Wendy may not work for Linda, may not work for Debbie, et cetera, right? So you have to figure out what it is, what's going to help you have healthy habits rather than
Healthy habits so they keep
eating the chocolate. It's most likely you don't need, but you know, sometimes you do.
Sometimes you
Sometimes
just
you
need
have
a little bit
and
of chocolate.
Kathy said, and well said, don't beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
If you're
I
really
loved
dying
her
for it, and
self-compassion
it's
piece.
there, don't sit and eat it and go, I'm a terrible person because I'm succumbing to the, urge for chocolate. It's just, if you're doing it, say, you know what, I feel that I need this. I know this is a signal to my body or to my brain or to my heart for some reason, and I'm going to figure it out because my body and I want to figure it out together. My body's on my side. So tomorrow when I feel this urge, maybe I'm thinking in advance, maybe I'll try to go for a walk, or maybe I'll drink a glass of water and I'll see if it helps me out. But for right now, I'm not. I'm just going to eat the chocolate. I'm going to be okay with it.
Right.
But I can't keep it in the house.
So that's what you know.
Right. I can't keep it in the house because I'll eat way too much.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
what I'll do now is I'll give myself a treat if I happen to be out at a store, and I'll buy myself a candy bar.
Yeah.
And that way it's not sitting in the house. I have one wrapped candy bar. When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And
I have a confession.
Oh, good. Okay, tune in.
It has been a process for me because I'm a real chocoholic, and it has been a process for me with chocolate in the house. And it's the only thing I keep in the house now is like 80-85% and above dark chocolate. So for me, that's okay. I can do that because you don't really only want a couple bites of that. It's not really a bar that you just devour the whole thing.
No, it doesn't do it for me.
This Halloween was the first Halloween that my kids didn't get any candy. And once a year on Halloween, they just didn't. They
didn't
went
go out. Oh, yeah.
They kind of went out and did things, but they just didn't go around and collect candy. Teenage boys, they're teenagers, and they weren't into it. They didn't feel like getting candy, and they never eat it anyway. Or not much of it. They really don't. There's like this big bag. For years, right?
Problem.
We had that big bag, and it would sit around forever, but they didn't want to throw it away. But they would let it, But I would eat all this little Snickers. Now they come in little bite size.
Really,
I just
one
love
square.
Snickers bars. I love Snickers bars. I didn't get any this year, and I was like, wow, I didn't get any Snickers bars. Wow, I didn't get any Snickers bars. And I thought, should I go out and get myself a Snickers bar? No, I'm not going to go out and get a Snickers bar. And I'm like, but I really miss the Snickers bar. I let myself do it once a year, and I know it's terrible. It's got hydrogenated oils. Like there's really nothing good about it. It's got peanuts in it. But I was at a store from something else, and I was getting groceries for something to bring somewhere, and there I was at the checkout, and there was a Snickers bar right in front of me, and I was like, you know what? I want it. I want it, and I ate it, and I enjoyed every bite, and I ate it slowly, and I was like, this is so good. And the great thing was, I don't have any desire for another one. Like, it's not like I'm going to go out and get another one tomorrow or the next day, or I don't. I'll wait till next year.
You treated yourself.
But I allowed myself, I'm going to allow myself to eat this. I'm going to just allow myself to do it, and it actually felt really good.
That's awesome.
Right.
And that's what Kathy was talking about as an eating psychology coach, is helping people really tune in to the signals that their body's giving them. Is it about the food? Is it about taking a walk? Is it about fear, anxiety, whatever? And coaching them to kind of really tune into who they are, what their bodies are needing, rather than just giving into that all the time and then feeling guilty about it. Or in my case, if I ate a Snickers bar, I would be asleep within an hour, literally asleep. And it's not to say that I don't eat a Snickers bar and I don't fall asleep. I do. But it's amazing to me how sugar puts me in the bed.
Yeah, my
really
husband says the
does.
same thing.
Amazing to me.
The
And I
kids and I are
still
like,
do it. That's the sick part. Right?
But what words are you using here, Wendy?
Yeah, you're right.
That's right.
That's the
That's right.
part that I need to continue to work on.
Have some
It
self-compassion.
is a process.
No, it's true.
Health is not perfection. It is a process, and
I like
it's
that.
been a process for me. I mean, my chocolate, addiction was big. Like at one point in time, I was eating a Snickers bar every day, or two sometimes, and I felt terrible.
Yeah.
But I kept doing it.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not there anymore, and that's okay. And one of the things that also really helps is just putting good food that's really delicious, because I think a lot of times you think to eat healthy is boring, bland, tasteless, and it feels like, I don't want to do that. I want to have good food. I hear people say all the time, I want to eat my good food. I was just telling Wendy and Debbie before we came on air that I went to the Beet Brasserie last night in Harvard Square. If you've never been, you need to go and try their roasted cauliflower hot wing. Had a barbecue cauliflower. It's just unbelievable. They roast it, they grill it, and then they toss it in that hot wing sauce. It was literally one of the best things I've ever had in my
sounds delicious.
entire life. I mean, it was. No wonder
whole
people
life.
travel from all over to go and eat it.
So
And
no
it's
matter where you are and you're listening to this, you got to get to Harvard.
You get it. Harvard
or
Square.
I asked her, I said, well, how do you guys make it? She said, we roast it, and then we grill it to crisp it a little bit, and then we toss it in the hot, the hot
So we can make
barbecue
it at
sauce.
home.
You
We
can
don't
make
have
it
to
at home.
travel.
What a great thing, I'm telling you.
Perhaps.
It was. So when you add good things like that into your diet,
Yes.
you go, it's perfectly healthy. It was cauliflower. It was like a very healthy thing. It almost tasted like chicken, because cauliflower is so kind of meaty. And with the barbecue sauce that you associate with the chicken, it just felt like this really hearty, comforting thing to eat.
And I like mashed cauliflower too.
Mashed cauliflower is
When
great.
you prepare well, it's really delicious.
Absolutely, you can make rice out of it too. If you don't want to have rice, you can chop it up, and it really feels like you're eating rice. So there's all these amazing healthy alternatives that if you learn them and you add them to your diet and you start to like them, what you eat today is who you become tomorrow, right? You're creating the cells of the future you, because every couple of years you have a completely new body. All your cells have regenerated. So if you eat bad food, you will continue to crave bad food. If you eat good food, you start to crave good food. It really
works that way.
It really works
You know
that
what
way.
I wish we'd asked Kathy when we had her on the call or on the camera here was how many is there a percentage of people for whom food has a lot more meaning and a lot more depth and connection? Like, yes, I might move toward eating mashed cauliflower over mashed potatoes with butter and sour cream in it, and I might be able to do that well. But if there's something that's in my gut or in my background or that's connecting me to the mashed potatoes and the butter and the sour cream that I'm having a hard time giving up, like how many of the, so she must see people for whom the emotional psychology coach that have that deeper connection or that wider connection to food, whereas some of us can to make an intellectual or a cerebral choice to say, oh, it tastes just as good as mashed potatoes, fine, I'll just translate and make cauliflower. That might be an easy transition for some people, but for other people there may be some, and that's the people that Kathy sees. I wish I'd asked her what I don't know if there's a percentage to be, but how do you know if it's your body that you're just a simple dietary change versus something that has depth and weight to it, like I can't give up the butter in my real mashed potatoes.
It's all psychology.
Yeah.
And that's what she talks about.
Right.
And Linda talks about, of course, too.
But as a woman listening, how do I know what I'm like? I wonder if there's a way to self-assess, like, oh, I really need to pick up the phone and call somebody like a Kathy and try to work this through versus, oh, I'll just make a simple clean eating change.
Well, I think that as coaches,
evaluate that.
I think that as coaches, we all know that even when you know you need to make a change, or you know that I could eat better, I can't lose this 20 pounds, or I can't lose whatever, you know that you need to, and we all know as coaches, yeah, my family situation might need a little help, my marriage might need a little help, my eating might need a little help, but I could do it on my own. I'm just going to go read a book, and I'm going to commit to it. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen.
Typically
You don't do
doesn't
it.
work.
It's the
No.
accountability that's key, and talking to somebody who can
been
help you
there, knows
understand on a
more.
deeper level where that comes from.
Yeah.
Because nobody needs to eat mashed potatoes for any other reason. I mean, they don't. Just
not
to
a
give you an example.
need. No, you're right.
It's not. You could half and half it with cauliflower if
Right,
you
right,
whatever, and,
right,
and you'd never
right.
know the difference.
Right.
And it's just what do I want to put in my body, and how do I think about my body.
But if
and-
you only eat mashed potatoes like 3 times a year,
yeah, it's fine.
knock your socks off, right?
Knock your socks off.
Or something
Butter,
like that.
sour cream, go to
Yeah,
town.
go for it. Have a good time. So, and that was one thing that Kathy mentioned too, is that sometimes she says people are able to talk with her on the phone for just a couple of sessions and kind of just like, top off that steam that's building up about my emotional connection to food and why it's calling on me so deeply, that it's not like with coaching, it's not a long-term, year after year, week after week commitment to some sort of therapeutic intervention. It's can be like, oh, let me just get that, a new vision of where I want to go, what I want to do. And so anyway,
It was a great
the whole eating thing is really important to me.
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
conversation. I think we
Yeah.
picked up some great tips.
The 3 things that she talked about at the end in terms of things to do is to the action steps. Do you remember? You wrote them down, I thought.
I can't write with my left hand.
that's right, the action steps. But just to be gentle with yourself, and also to the 4 or 5 o'clock. Go ahead, eat.
Yep.
And don't get too worked up in that. And to have those things prepared. She talked about most of the women that she talks with. She talks about preparation. So having when you open up the refrigerator and stare at it, there's going to be the cut up apple. There's going to be like little bags of
That's
nuts.
right. That was another thing I wanted to point out, the preparation in advance.
A lot of
Yes.
preparation in advance helps
Yep.
when those moments come up and those surges come up, like, oh, I just got a terrible phone call from one of the kids' teachers. I just want the chocolate chip cookies, and you open up the fridge and you go, oh, there's some apples. Or maybe there's a note hanging there say, try a walk, Wendy. Something like that.
Well, isn't that the definition of success? When preparation meets opportunity.
Yes, it is.
Ooh,
That
there
is
you
the
go.
definition of success.
Right? So being prepared is huge. If you can spend a few hours on a Sunday, a Saturday, just make your food for the week, decide what you know you're going to want for the week, roast some vegetables, have some things prepared, your whole life will change.
Much easier.
Dramatically.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Terrific,
really true.
terrific. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all very much for listening. This has been a great conversation amongst the 3 of us, which it always is. We're from Mighty Married Moms, and my name is Wendy Williams from connectagain.org.
Linda Tighe from allwellbreaksloose.com.
And Debbie Owen from YouCanRaiseGreatKids.com.
Great. And so tune in to mightymarriedmoms.com. And when you download these episodes, please give us a positive rating and review on iTunes, and share this with other women, other people that you know that want to have a life that they really want. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community,
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.